King Charles just lobbed a perfectly chilled grenade into Meghan Markle's pastel paradise, and almost nobody heard the pin drop. One moment, her new rosé, all blush labels and sunshine slogans, floated across social feeds like a cotton candy cloud. Next, a royal counterpunch shattered the calm. A flash 15% discount on the king's own Duchy sparkling rosé, triggered only when buyers grabbed a full half case, just enough to drown the taste of the competition. This wasn't petty, it was precision, centuries of crown, forged credibility packed into a single price tag. The unspoken verdict? Legacy drinks first. And that's only the first crack in the glass. Meghan's pastel launch was designed for effortless domination. 11 jars of ultra-chic jam, a blush-toned bottle teased like a midsummer secret, and the soft focus promise of, as ever, wellness. It was influencer dreamscape. California sunlight, $49 fruit spreads that veteran preservers say barely qualify as jam. The wine itself? Still untasted, yet marketed with Nep Valley terroir talk and sunlit optimism pre-orders. Trademark drama flared as a New York fashion label claimed as ever was theirs first. Then came the tasting elite, award-winning jam artisans, calling the spread what you make when a batch flops. Memes multiplied, dubbing the bottles peony-hued dishwater pink and questioning whether flavor would be equally dilute. Undeterred, Meghan doubled down. Eucalyptus, draped Instagram carousels, captions about slow mornings and found moments. It looked flawless on the grid, but critics smelled vaporware. An empire propped up by aesthetics, not substance. But just as her cork was poised to pop, a centuries-old vineyard prepared to flood the market. The very dawn Meghan's rosy press kits fluttered into inboxes. Palace courtiers watched an internal sales dashboard blink emerald green. Overnight, King Charles had greenlit a 6-bottle deal on his Duchy sparkling rosé, 15% shaved clean off, but only if you committed to an entire half case. On paper, it read like a polite promotion. In practice, it felt like a cannon blast rolled in velvet. Royal aides whispered that timing was no coincidence. Charles had tracked Meghan's pre-launch chatter for weeks, waiting for the exact hour her hashtag peaked before pressing publish. The label itself is a masterclass in quiet confidence. No pastel script, just a restrained crest perched above 1999, nodding to the moment Charles sold his very first organic oatcake at a county fair. 3 decades later, Duchy's supply chain covers 240 tenant farms, funnels millions into rural charities, and still reports year-on-year growth even during cost-of-living squeezes. Buyers know exactly what they're getting: sustainable vines, low-intervention fermentation, flavors that have won blind tastings against Provence heavyweights. That credibility isn't loud, it's granite. By noon, specialty grocers from Bath to Belfast were posting empty shelf selfies. Sommelier praised the fizz's sharp strawberry nose, eco-bloggers applauded carbon-negative bottling, casual drinkers simply loved the idea of a king's discount. Meanwhile, Meghan's camp scrambled. Influencer sample boxes disappeared behind NDAs. A rumored tasting party livestream got postponed. One distributor quietly floated a lower-than-planned US price to avoid being jammed at the register. Meme lords had a field day. Buy 6, forget Sussex, sighed one viral tweet. It was petty, yet devastating. And the fallout spread fast. Scroll for 60 seconds, and the difference is night and noon. Charles's Duchy brand reads like an English orchard at daybreak. Carbon-negative farms, heirloom apples, profits funneled into rural charities. No filter needed. Meghan's universe, by contrast, is pure grit aesthetic. Lavender-tinted skylines, eucalyptus, wrapped breakfast boards, product launches choreographed to the golden hour. Both beautiful, but only one survives scrutiny. Ask longtime jam artisans, and they'll tell you Duchy's strawberry preserve tastes like June. Ask them about Meghan's $49 spread, and they'll cough, "That's what we label fruit sauce when the set doesn't take." Memes mushroomed. Side-by-side shots of Charles in muddy boots next to Meghan in curated denim. One caption nailed the mood: legacy ages, branding oxidizes. Yet behind the joke sits a harsher metric: repeat buyers. Duchy's numbers climb every quarter. Meghan's pre-order tracker leaked, revealing cancellations the moment tasting notes went missing. Instagram applauds, pink bubbles, grocery carts reward proven flavor. And in a marketplace choking on hype, substance suddenly feels rebellious. Still, the real bruise landed far from the vineyard. New York's Crystal Canyon swallowed Prince Harry in one unceremonious gulp. No cheering crowd, no Meghan by his side, just a lone duke in a navy suit clutching notes for a climate finance keynote that ultimately trended below a cat video compilation. Attendees whispered that he seemed drained, polite, but distracted, glancing at his phone between panels as though expecting a lifeline ping from the West Coast that never came. Paparazzi shots of his exit told the tale. Shoulders forward, quick step, eyes down. The Daily Mail slapped a merciless headline, "A Prince Without a Palace or a Plus, One." Hours later, 2,800 miles away, Meghan's feed bloomed with that now famous weekend feeling carousel, slouchy cashmere, sun-streaked hair, a low-key diamond barely peeking from her hand. Zero mention of Harry. To the casual scroller, it looked like curated bliss. To royal watchers, it felt deafening. Body language analysts reran the post on breakfast television. Note the open torso, a gesture of self-ownership. One expert claimed. Commenters picked at subtext. Was the subtle locket necklace a nod to self-love? Or a blink and you miss it clue aimed at Harry himself? Patterns resurfaced like watermarks on crisp linen, the abrupt drift from childhood confidants after she booked her first Suits season, the mailing-label divorce that blindsided producer Trevor Engelson when a new audition called, the quiet culling of social circles the moment Spotify axed archetypes. Critics coined a three-word mantra: elevate, then exit. Always upward, never backward. Even sympathetic magazines, once eager to crown Harry and Meghan Chapter 2, began printing sidebars titled, "Is solo branding the new power couple?" For the first time, Harold, once the world's most eligible royal, looked like a satellite orbiting his own marriage. If he scrolled Instagram in that Manhattan suite, one truth hit harder than any tabloid. The brand he left a kingdom for might be learning to spin without him. But that wasn't the whole story. Across the Atlantic, King Charles sharpened a far subtler blade. According to a discreet Telegraph leak, the monarch has already mapped every second of his eventual farewell, down to who stands vigil, who rides in the cortege, and yes, where Harry and Meghan fit. Full integration. No sidelines. Even little Archie and Lily have places in the procession if they choose. It's grace wrapped in granite, an open hand that doubles as a reminder of who still signs the royal rolls. One stroke of that infamous fountain pen, remember the ink-spattered coronation tantrum, and the HRH letters could vanish forever. Yet Charles offers inclusion instead, even while juggling cancer treatments and weekly state briefs. In that contrast, California's soft-focus branding versus a king confronting mortality, the power balance flips. Meghan may dominate hashtags, but Charles governs history, and history has longer legs. The chessboard is set. The next move might rewrite royal bloodlines or influencer bottom lines, and the timer's still ticking. Pull the camera back, and the feud shrinks to a dot inside a far larger contest. Influence capitalism. Meghan's shrewdest asset isn't jam or rosé, it's polarity itself. Each headline, mocked, exposed, revealed, functions like a microtransaction, converting outrage into reach into relevance, relevance into resale value for whatever drops next. Marketing textbooks call it controversy elasticity. The more stretch you tolerate, the higher the snapback engagement. Charles plays a different long game. Call it heritage compounding. Every decade the monarchy survives multiplies its symbolic equity. Duchies' orchards keep fruiting. Historic palaces keep filling tourism coffers. Coronation footage keeps relicensing to streaming docs. The revenue may not spike like an influencer launch, but it never flatlines. Think dividend stock versus meme coin. Harry drifts in the gravity well between them, a man who swapped aristocratic certainty for what he imagined was authenticity. Yet authenticity, in a metrics-driven economy, is just another commodity. Harder to price, easier to counterfeit. His memoir sold millions, yet softened almost overnight. Speaking gigs pay well, but vanish when headlines cool. Even visas can become bargaining chips if public goodwill curdles. The serenade of "I left for love" echoes, but algorithms demand fresher songs. Meanwhile, the market remains brutal. Hashtags spike, then ghost. Heritage lingers like oak in a barrel. Streaming platforms already eye the next generation, Princess Charlotte's teenage years, Louis's first controversy, because legacy is recyclable. Brands built on aesthetics age in dog years, institutions built on ritual jog at geological pace. So the ultimate question isn't who shouts loudest this quarter, it's who's still standing, earning, and mattering when the feed refreshes 5 years from now. And what happens next could tilt the entire board word and the Lauder and Eddard, 1 discount, 1 blush-hued bottle, and 3 lives locked in a duel of legacy versus lifestyle. Charles showed how a single price cut can rattle an empire built on aesthetics. Meghan reminded the world that being the main character, polarizing, unpredictable, relentless, is its own kind of power. Harry proved that crowns and likes can both slip through your fingers if you don't pick a side. So, when the bubbles finally settle, which will rule the day? Centuries of heritage? Or the ever-scrolling hype machine? Watch the glass, because the next crack may be the one that makes it shatter. If the wine war was the spark, the media frenzy became a full-blown wildfire. Morning shows dissected Charles's discount like a military maneuver. Lifestyle podcasts mocked Meghan's dishwater pink with strawberry emojis and side-eye memes. Pollsters tallied sentiment. Britons swung 20 points toward the king's corner, while U.S. audiences splintered into Team Meghan stans and Duchess detractors. Even Wall Street chimed in. Retail trackers clocked a 5-day surge in Duchy sales, while pre-order cancellations for Meghan's rosé spiked 37%. Comment sections turned gladiator arenas. Every post, every headline pumped fresh oxygen into the feud. And still, one story simmered beneath the hashtags. Behind palace gates, lawyers polish contingency drafts, titles that could vanish with a signature, security perks poised to evaporate. Across the ocean, Meghan's strategists storyboard a comeback reel that skips the prince entirely. And Harry? Insiders whisper about visa renewal headaches and a memoir sequel that might fire back at both fronts. 3 narratives, 1 ticking clock. When King Charles's health updates drop, markets listen. When Meghan posts a single rose emoji, tabloids spiral. When Harry steps on stage alone, silence suddenly feels deafening. The next twist isn't a matter of if, it's when. And when the glass finally shatters, the shards will tell us whether heritage or hype bleeds first. And that's a wrap! If today's scoop had you raising an eyebrow or two, tap that like button to let us know. Got a hot take or inside tea? Drop it in the comments so the whole crew can weigh in. Not part of the fam yet? Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell because the next twist is always one upload away.